By a vote of 49 to 47, the U.S. Senate confirmed the nomination of Nancy Abudu to the United States Supreme Court, to the Circuit Court, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. That was the one we were discussing yesterday. That's the lawyer that actually heads up litigation strategy for the Southern Impoverished Law Center, morally impoverished law center. Again, that vote 49 to 47, barely passing. Anyway. All right, lawmakers in North Carolina passed legislation this week to protect the unborn after 12 weeks of pregnancy, successfully overriding the veto of Democratic Governor Roy Cooper. North Carolina voters gave Republicans a supermajority in their state legislature last November, and they needed every vote to narrowly override the veto. This continues the momentum we're seeing for life all across the nation at the state level, with lawmakers both in Nebraska and South Carolina also considering pro-life legislation this week. Joining me now to discuss this is State Senator Joyce Krawiec. She represents the 31st District of North Carolina. Senator, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, congratulations on getting this legislation passed. Even with the Republican supermajority in your state, I know this result was not completely assured.
Oh, it was. We were sure on the Senate side that we had the votes to override the veto, and we knew we would get a veto when we passed it. But we weren't sure about the House, and I'm sure you probably heard we had a Democrat switch to Republican just in the last couple of weeks, and gave us that supermajority. And she did vote with us, so we were able to override the veto, and it is so sweet. But this is the third time within that bill that we passed. We also had a ban on partial birth abortion in case it changes at the federal level, and we also had the Born Alive Survivors Act. And I have filed that bill every session since I've been there, and it's been vetoed, and we didn't have the votes to override. So that was also a part of that bill. So now babies that survive those botched abortions will be cared for. So it is it's a great day in North Carolina for sure.
So this was a big bill, comprehensive in nature in terms of protecting life.
It was a big bill as far as protecting life, and we had so many good things in there to take care of moms and babies and families and to promote life. We included $160 million in funding for child care, for taking care of moms during their pregnancy, parental leave. It was just packed with lots of good stuff to take care of those moms and to encourage them to have their babies.
So speak to that for just a moment. Senator, speak to that aspect of the bill, because we're seeing that across the nation, Mississippi being one of the first to actually allow taxpayers to direct money to care pregnancy centers. So this is not just about protecting unborn children. You know, critics often say, well, you don't care about babies once they come out of the womb, you don't care about their mothers. But this bill is further evidence that that is not true.
Absolutely not true. We want to encourage moms to have their babies. Also in the bill was a 72-hour informed consent, where the mom really gets to hear all of her options. She, now so often they think abortion is their only option, and that is just not true. And so they have to be informed about what their options are. And we did allow it's 12 weeks, no abortions elective after 12 weeks. 20 weeks are the exceptions for rape and incest. And then at 24 weeks for babies that have life-limiting fetal anomalies, that can go up to 24 weeks. But after 12 weeks, all abortions have to be performed in a hospital setting. And it was so ironic on the floor to hear the Democrats actually admit that we were virtually putting an end to abortions because the abortion clinics in North Carolina would all be closed. That was an admission to me that those clinics are not safe for women, because now they're held to the same standards as all other ambulatory surgical centers, which is what they are.
Right.
And it was so ironic to hear them say these clinics will all be closed down. Admission that they didn't care about taking care of women.
You're absolutely
it was just
right.
about abortion.
When I authored the Abortion Clinic Regulation Act back in my home state of Louisiana years ago, that was one of the arguments they'd have to close down. In fact, that many of them did because they were driven by profit, not by the care of their patients. One other aspect before we run out of time, Senator, is this also addresses the adoption issue, does it not?
Absolutely. We have incentives in there for adoption. We have kinship care in there. I mean, it was a big bill that you name anything having to do with moms and babies and families, and it's in that bill. So we're just really excited about it. And it also shows that the other side doesn't really care about those things as long as they want abortion, and that's it. They were not willing to compromise any in order to get those additional, just so many good things for those families. But they weren't willing to cross the line and give up abortion and to just give 1 inch on abortion. And this was very mainstream.
Right.
First trimester is very mainstream, and I think we lose sight of that because people paint, they said our bill was extreme and that we were going way too far, when in fact 93% of the countries around the world limit abortions to the first trimester.
You're absolutely right.
So we really are mainstream at 12 weeks.
What this did, as you just described how some of your Democratic colleagues would not support this bill, it shows who's extreme. Their view
That's exactly right.
of embracing
That's exactly
abortion
right.
up until the moment of birth, and some of them beyond, that's what's extreme.
Exactly. That's extreme. And I think people know that. They won't admit that, but we need to keep pointing it out at every opportunity because this shows that abortion is all they care about.
Yeah. Senator Krawiec, again, congratulations on a job well done, and thanks for taking time to join us today.
Thanks so much.